Okay, my name is Brandon,
I'm Colin.
and we decided that after watching a Van Damme movie, that we're gonna go around Colin's kitchen, his parents' kitchen, and find all kinds of things that we could use as like weapons and shit.
Act out the ultimate, like, epic late 80s, early 90s bad martial arts film, like, fight scene.
So we're gonna just give you an idea of the different household items that you can just use to beat the shit out of each other with. So let's start. Why don't you start?
Well, okay. Say it first, right? So, Brandon decides to break this bottle of Seagram's extra dry gin and then start trying to stab me with it.
Yeah, like like in a bar fight, you go to stab a dude with a broken bottle, kind of thing, right?
So then he's doing that, and I'm like, bam, non-filtered menthol cigarette in your face. And he's all like,
Oh,
And
I
right
got.
over here, we have some hanging chandelier shit. So I'll grab one of those down and start strangling him with it, right? But then I'm all into it and distracted, and then he'd be like,
Yeah, and so as I'm being strangled and we're wrestling around and shit, I'll come over here and find there's just Windex sitting around, and I'll spray it in his face, and now he's blind. The classic blinding scene.
then I'm fumbling around and find some like prescription medicine or something, and manage to like get it open and start shoving like pills down his throat so it'll
So
like
by now I'm like choking. I'm choking on the pills because I'm trying not to swallow them and like die. And so here I am choking, and he's trying to find something else while I'm on the ground like choking and trying to fight him and shit.
then I see my iPhone right here and buy time bludgeoning him over the head with it. But what I don't realize all the while is that
In the sink, someone forgot to put away the dishes, and so I found a knife. So now I'm starting to swing it at him and shit.
and then like we kind of like fight it out back to here, at which point I realized I was making coffee earlier because I was kind of tired. Then I pull the classic like Fast Times at Ridgemont High Judge Reinhold. I'm like, like get off my case, motherfucker. And then Sean Penn walks out.
So by
Sean Penn's in this movie
But
too.
yeah, Sean Penn's in this movie. By now, I've already dropped this knife because I had scalding hot coffee thrown on me.
And then what we don't realize is that this broken Seagram's bottle, Seagram's extra dry gin, is still here precariously on the table. So then we're like grappled up, and we both fall into the table. Now we have like shards of glass, and just pretend that this is like, over 100 proof or something, like it's
Yeah.
flammable. So all the while,
Yeah, I'm wrestling around with him, and we got the broken bottles and shit. And we're trying to stab each other. I find this candle over here, and this candle just happens to be lit, and so I'm trying to like thrust it in his face, like, oh god, fire, because apparently karate martial arts guys hate fire, I guess.
so now I'm on fire. So I think back to preschool, and I'm like, stop, drop, and roll, right? And then I roll, knock him down, not realizing that he's holding.
The lighter fluid, and I start to spray him with the lighter fluid while he's on fire, which is making things even worse.
But then Brandon's on fire too. So now we're like both on fire, trying to stop, drop, and roll. And finally we both get out horribly scalded.
And then it doesn't always work all the time, but you could do like in the Jason Bourne movies and just take a pen and just try to start stabbing him with it. I'll probably only make like get a small vein or something, but it'll at least do some damage. So while I'm trying to fight him, he's looking for his cigarettes because he really needs a cigarette really really bad.
And then you got to give him the classic Don Johnson, Sonny Crockett, the tongue roll, and the whole. Yeah.
And so as Colin is looking through, getting his cigarettes, and I still have hot coffee and fire on me, he just happens to find these scissors on the ground, which we don't know why there's scissors on the ground. and so he tries to start stabbing me and shit.
So I'm stabbing him, and then I realized, oh, there's some sort of I think Jim Shore thing here, but we don't use this. We're just like, oh, that's pretty cool, like decor, nice home product. Yeah, my mom has good taste. And then,
And all the while, AC/DC is playing in the background on on the television as we're fighting.
an early '90s period rush. So at this point, there's a whole gang war going on all around us.
And so
the house is on fire.
Yeah, the house is on fire, and by now, like, I'm trying to find a way to just end this fight. And so I find this. It's called a banana. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these before. They're kind of rare. But I take it and I start shoving it down his throat because he has a really bad gag reflex and shit. So, like, he'll start choking on it.
So but then see, they never learn from their mistakes. So all the while I'm like, cigarette in your face. So he's there like, and I'm there like, and then like some other people come in, and now there's like a whole gang war going on.
Yeah, like ninjas fucking pop out of like the windows and stuff, and what is it? What do they call those guys with swords? Samurais.
Yeah.
Samurais bust in and start like being all flashy and swinging shit around. But see, like, you can make an action film in your own kitchen. It's not that hard. Just you got to be creative. Like, see this flower pot thing right here? I could have broken that over his head. I could have broken that over his head, and he would have never seen it coming because I'm a little bit more creative than him.
But what I see is his book bag is right here, and if you can't see it from here, there's a delta thing on here because he's not a girl, but he has a sorority pin. So I'm like, delta, can we help you? And I'm like, yes, you can. I take it off, and I'm like, pin in your eye.
And he starts like trying to stab me with the pin, right?
Yeah. And then there's this elephant on here for some reason too, and that's just nice decor too. Also, yeah. Then all the while, of course, then it breaks up and it's out in the street. And then 30 minutes later, we have the big epic showdown where he comes walking in the middle of the street.
And by now we're both pretty bloody. So we realize that it's an even draw and that we're not going to be able to like kick each other's ass enough to kill each other. So we open up beers together and we just drink together. So it's pretty cool. So that's our video. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you learned something. Otherwise, if you
Miller Lite, new Vortex bottle.
Yeah, the new. Oh, whatever. Okay, so yeah, that's our video. So we hope you enjoyed it. I'm Brandon.
I'm Colin.
And this is Fighting in the Kitchen.